Hello, friends. Hope you are doing good and are safe and healthy. This is our part four and the final part of our ongoing chapter, that is the business services. Okay, just a quick recap of first three parts. In the first part, we have covered the services and goods, their distinction, features, and nature of services, and types of services. This chapter is mainly depends upon business services. In the second types, we have covered the banking services, various types of banks, and the functions of commercial banks. Right. In the previous part or the part three, we have covered the various types of insurance and fundamental principles of insurance, their functions, and the basic distinctions of life, fire, and marine insurance. Right. So in this part, we are going to cover communication and warehousing services. So what do you mean by communication? Okay, in general terms, communication means interaction with one another, with the other persons, right? With any other persons. So you will be interacting every day with various types of persons, right? Everywhere. So in business also, communication is very much important. So communication services are helpful to the business for establishing links with the outside world. As we establish our relationship personally, the business also establish relationship with the help of communications. Like outside world means what do you mean by means other parties, like suppliers or our vendors, right? Customers, competitors, government, and various other stakeholders, which are overly surrounded by the business, right? So business is not isolated. It is a part of our environment. It is a part of our surrounding. So it has to communicate with others for transmission of its ideas and informations, right? So communication for therefore communication services must be very efficient, accurate, and fast. Otherwise, if there is a item that if there is any communication, there is any information which is to be given to other person, and that information we have supplied it late, then there is no use of that information, right? So communication should be fast and effective in the effective manner, because in this fast moving and competitive world, it is essential to have an advanced technology for quick exchange of information. And for this we have the various types of communications we can see. Postal services, which we in the ancient times, in the previous century, we have used much, right? And telecom, as in today's world, in the internet banking world, sorry, in the internet world, in the world of internet, we are using this, right? So we will see this one by one. Postal services. So, if I talk about Indian jurisdiction, right, Indian Post and Telegraph Department, right, provides various postal services across India, all over India, right. For providing these services, the whole country has been divided into 22 postal circles. These circles manage the day-to-day functioning of various head post offices, sub post offices, and branch post offices. Means each circle has been divided into various other bifurcations, right? Through their regional and divisional level arrangement, the various facilities provided by these the postal departments are divided into these two: financial facilities and mail facilities, right? So, what do you mean by financial facilities? These facilities are provided through the post office's saving scheme, right? Since like we have saving account and saving bank account in normal commercial bank, right? So similarly, in postal services, there are few saving schemes like public provident fund, like PPF, right? Kishan Vikas Patra for agriculturists, right? And national saving certificates. In addition to the normal retail banking functions of monthly income schemes, recurring deposits, saving account, time deposits, and money order facility. So these are basic financial facilities. Means postal services nowadays acts like a bank plus its normal services, which it is going to which it is providing from last century, right? Okay. Next is mail facilities. Mail services consist of like parcel or courier facilities, that is transmission of articles from one place to another, like speed post, registered post, right? So registration facility to provide security of transmitted articles, and insurance facility to provide insurance cover for all the risk in course of transmission by post. Like if we are transmitting anything from postal services like speed post or registered post, so the postal department gives the insurance facility as well. In the event of the damage of that article, the postal services will provide the insurance for that, or will provide the insurance cover for that, right? So normally you can see that various types of post would be mails facility would be greeting post, media post, direct post, international money transfer, passport facilities, speed post, e-bill, and many other. It can vary from jurisdiction to jurisdictions, right? So this was the basic postal services which we are seeing from many years in India, right? Now it comes the telecom services. So world class telecommunications infrastructure is the key to rapid economic and social development of any country, right? It is in fact the backbone of every business activity. Unless and until there will be effective and fast communication, no business can run very efficiently, right? So, in today's world, the dream of doing business across continents will remain a dream in the absence of these telecom infrastructure. So, if we are doing business in a particular city, to transmit or to expand our business in another city, we have to communicate. So, there should be a quick communication, quick communication modes. Okay, so there have been far-reaching developments in this convergence of telecom, right? IT, consumer electronics, and media industries worldwide. So basically, these communications or this telecom service is bifurcated into many forms. Sorry. So first is cellular mobile services. So these are all types of mobile telecom services, including voice and non-voice messages, data services, PCO services, utilizing any type of equipment within their service area, right? So they can also provide direct interconnectivity with any other type of telecom service provider. So we are using the mobile, right? So that is only the cellular mobile services. We can connect with one another with a very easy medium, right? Next is fixed line services. These are all types of fixed services, including voice and non-voice messages itself, and data services to establish linkages for long distance traffic. Fixed line services we can see from country to another country through fiber optic cables, right? So these also provide interconnectivity with other types of telecom services also. Fixed line services provides interconnectivity with other types of services, telecom services also, right? So the third type of telecom services is cable services. So these are linkages and switched services within a licensed area of operation to operate media services, which are essentially one-way entertainment related services. So cable services, you can see that we are looking at the television, right? Business channels, entertainment channels. So those are cable services, which is a one-way communication, right? So the two-way communication, including voice, data, and information service through cable network, would emerge significantly in the future, which we see that video calling type of services, right? So if video calling type of services is enabled in these TV channels, right? So there can be types of we can see that the communication between the reporter and the right in the office in the media house, right? So there is a chance of or there is a possibility of emerging technology in this area also. Okay, so the next one is VSAT services. What do you mean by VSAT? VSAT is the abbreviated form of very small aperture terminal, right? And it is a satellite based communication service. It offers businesses and government agencies a highly flexible and a reliable communication solution in both urban and rural areas. Compared to land based services, VSAT offers the assurance of reliable and uninterrupted service that is equal to or better than the land based services. Right? So it can be used to provide applications such as telemedicine, newspaper online, market rates, and tele-educations, which we are seeing it like different applications we are using. Right? In India, there is Byju's or Pharmacy. So these services use these types of VSAT services, right? And the final one is DTH services. DTH, which we all know from direct to home, is again a satellite based media service provided by cellular companies. One can receive media services directly through a satellite with the help of a small dish antenna, like an umbrella, right? So, this antenna and a setup box. So the service provider of DTS services provides a bouquet of multiple channels. It can be viewed on our television without being dependent on the services provided by the cable network service provider. So it is a comparative of comparison of cable services, right? Substitute of cable services, DTS services. So these were the basic types of communication services. Now there is a small portion, there is a small type. In this chapter we are studying about business services, and transportation is also a part of business services. Though I have not mentioned it here because there are not a whole content over there, not various other types of transportation, but yet we are taking the classes to make you understand the concept. There is a type of transportation services as well. So, transportation comprises freight services together with supporting and auxiliary services by all modes of transportation. What do you mean by modes of transportation? Railway, road, air, and sea for the movement of goods and the international carriage of passengers, right? So these services are considered to be important for business since speed is of essence in any business transition. Like communication should be fast and accurate, similarly transportation should be also fast and accurate, right? So in any business transaction, also transportation removes the hindrance of place. It makes good available to the consumer from one place to another, right? So we are using online e-commerce apps. So if we are purchasing anything from other part of the country, it is approaching or it is delivered to us within a week, right? Or within 2 days, 3 days, based upon the transportation speed of the transportation. So the speed of the transportation decides the efficiency of the business as well. So for this we need better infrastructure of roads with the sufficient width and high quality. Right. So you can see that in many countries we have few ports and they too are very congested. So both government and industry needs to be proactive and view the effective functioning of these service areas as well. Right. So moving towards the warehousing services. So warehousing means storage, right? So storage has always been an important aspect of economic development, right? So for good, since we have seen in the previous chapter, forms of business organization, services cannot be stored, right? In this chapter, sorry, services cannot be stored, but yes, goods can be stored, and there are a whole lot of goods, and for their storage, we need warehousing services. So the warehouse was initially viewed as a static unit for keeping and storing goods in a scientific and systematic manner, right? So the typical warehouse received merchandise by rail, truck, or block cart. The items were moved manually to a storage within the warehouse and hand piled in stacks on the floor. They are used by manufacturers, importers, exporters, wholesalers, transport business, customs, etc. Various stakeholders, right? But today's warehouse have ceased to be a mere storage service providers and have really become a logistical services. Previously, in ancient, we only used or we only see these services as only a means of storage. But yes, now it has been evolved as a proper logistical service, right? That is making available the right quantity at the right place in the right time and in the right form and right cost. I'll reiterate the same thing: right quantity at the right place in the right time in the right physical form at the right cost. Right. So modern warehouses are automated with automatic conveyors, computer operated cranes, and forklifts for moving goods, and also usage of logistics automation softwares for warehousing management. So in these types of services, we can find various types of warehouse, like private. So what do you mean by private warehouse? So private warehouses are operated, owned, and leased by a company handling their own goods, such as retail chain stores, Walmart, D-Mart, Big Bazaar, and all those, right? So, as a general rule, an efficient warehouse is planned around a material handling system in order to encourage maximum efficiency of product movement. The benefit, what is the benefit of warehouse? The benefit of private warehousing includes control, flexibility, and other benefits like improved dealer relationships. right? Dealer relations. Okay, so moving towards public, since private is owned by the private business holders, right, which has their handling their own goods. On the opposite side, on the contrary, public warehouses can be used for storage of goods by traders, manufacturers, or any member of the public after the payment of a storage fee. So it can be used by any stakeholder, any business man, right? So the government regulates the operation of these warehouses by issuing licenses for them to private parties. Next is bonded warehouse. So, but sorry. Before moving to bonded warehouse, the benefits for public warehouse can be include flexibility in the number of locations because government handles this, right? So, number of locations can be present. No fixed cost and capability of offering value-added services like packaging and labeling also. So, few public warehouse also offers the services of packaging and labeling, right? Moving towards bonded warehouse. What do you mean by bonded warehouse? Bonded warehouses are licensed by the government, right, to accept imported goods prior to payment of tax and custom duty. So, if an example, I will import something from US, United States, right? So before payment of tax and custom duty, the goods where the goods will be kept, it will be called as bonded warehouse, right? And if I pay the tax and custom duty, then the goods will be moved from that bonded warehouse to my location, right? So these are goods which are imported from other countries, right? So importers are not permitted to remove goods from the docks or the airport till custom duty is paid, right? So if the ship arrives at midnight 12 and the movement of goods is in the next morning, so the time where the goods will be placed is will be a bonded warehouse. Okay. Oh, so next, moving towards the government warehouses. So these warehouses are fully owned and managed by the government, as the name itself speaks. The government manages them through organizations set up in the public sector. For example, Food Corporation of India, State Trading Corporation, and Central Warehousing Corporation. Right. Okay, so the final one is cooperative warehouses. Some market, as we have seen in the previous chapter, that forms of business organization, cooperative societies, right? Some cooperative societies, specific, if I will be specific, marketing cooperative societies or agriculture cooperative societies have set up their own warehouses for members of their own cooperative society, right, to facilitate the members a good service, warehousing service. So these are called the cooperative warehouses, right? And if you will see, in all the types of warehouses, you will find few similar types of functions. And what are those functions? First function is consolidation. In this function, the warehouse receives and consolidates material, which mean goods, from different production plants and dispatches the same to a particular customer on a single transportation shipment. So whatever, how much, maybe the manufacturer, the goods are consolidated or kept in a single place, right, and then sent to the customer with the shipment, right? So this is called consolidation of goods or consolidation. Next is breaking the bulk. It's a Adam, right? So the warehouse performs the function of dividing the bulk quantity of goods received from the production plants into smaller quantities. For example, you can see not all the goods belong to a single customer, right? So the warehouse or the goods which are kept in the warehouse will belongs to the many thousands of customers, right? So these warehouses acts as an breaking the bulk, right? So they are dividing the quantity of goods in received from many production plants, received from the many manufacturers, right, and are delivered in the smaller quantities to various types of customers. Okay, so it's the opposite of first point, consolidation. Next is stockpiling. So this is the seasonal function, right? You can see the this is a seasonal storage of goods to selected business. If I am doing any seasonal type of business, right? So, for example, sugarcane. If I want to stock or stockpile the sugarcane for the rainy season, so I will harvest those and keep in my warehouse. So, these the main function of these warehouses for those goods which are not required immediately for sale and or manufacturing, right? So those are stored in these types of warehouses. They are made available to business depending on customers demand also, right? So stockpiling, we are adding the stock upon stock. And next function is value added services, right? So value added services are also, which means that uh, transit mixing, packaging, labeling, as I said, that various warehouses also provide the function of, or the service of packaging and labeling, right? So these are value added, these are called value added services. So goods sometimes need to be opened and repackaged and labeled again, right, at the time of inspection by prospective buyers. So grading according to the quantity and dividing goods in smaller lots is also a value added services. So any service which you provide in the warehouse is a value added services, right? Okay. So next one is price stabilization. Next function, this is a very important function in the economy, right? So by adjusting the supply of goods with the demand situation, warehousing performs the function of stabilizing prices. Thus, prices are controlled when the supply is increasing and demand is slack, and vice versa. So price stabilization is very much important function of warehousing. And the final function is financing. So warehouses owner advances money to the owners on security of goods and further supply goods on credit terms to customer, right? For example, if for example we are means the warehouse's owner takes, or he has the goods itself in his godown, right, in his warehouse. So he advances money to various other needy parties to the owners of on the basis of security of these goods, right? So this is a way of financing also, way of doing business also, right? So these are the very much important functions of warehousing, right? Right, friends. So here is the end of our chapter, which we have covered banking services, various types of banks, insurance services, various types of insurance services, right? Types of communication services, and warehousing services, and there is a small description of transportation services, right? Okay, friends. So here our chapter ends, and we will be continuing with other chapters in our other parts of the videos, right? So, in case of any query, please do comment. And if you liked my way of teaching, and any other suggestion you have, please do comment and like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.